starting to file in.
Let's go through the history and build up of this thing. I do want folks to know who you are and how you get to this seat. And a big part of this is who you are as an athlete and then as a coach. Let's start with the athlete side of it. Let the folks know who you are.
Oh, wow. The athlete side of it, I'm washed up now.
No such thing. You did what you did.
It's been a long time going. But, no, I started playing volleyball back when I was 12. So I've been around the sport for 34 years now, if you can do math. It's a long time. Played my high school days at Omaha Marion, my clubs River City, went on to play at Nebraska, won a national championship my freshman year, made it to the Final Four the next year, also played basketball. So sports are a huge part of my life. Done with, even when I was in college playing, I had a calling to coaching at a young age. And now I'm at Skutt Catholic High School. We just recently won our 9th straight state championship, which is absolutely unreal to say out loud. And now I get to watch these phenomenal athletes do what's never been done in the United States.
What does this mean for you as a former player and as a current coach? What does it mean? What does it do for the game of volleyball?
I mean, all eyes are on Omaha right now.
Yeah.
All eyes are on Omaha, just like all eyes were on Lincoln for Volleyball Day in Nebraska. I think it was planned. I think we got the first game because we do things right here. This state embraces volleyball. But I think there's going to be a lot of wide-eyed kids in those stands and now college players that are like, wow, I could play professional volleyball on our home soil, which is huge.
If we went back, and I asked you this on Old School earlier, but I'll ask again because I think different audiences, different story. But if I said to you 10 years ago that you're going to be sitting in a room with expecting 10,000 plus fans to watch women's professional volleyball, what would you have said?
I would have kind of probably giggled because I'm like, we don't have professional volleyball. It wasn't even a possibility at the time. Like they had tried a couple professional teams, but not to this capacity. And I think that this capacity is exactly what kids need to see to know that there's something bigger than just going to college to play volleyball. Like you have an opportunity to make money doing something you love to do.
Is this validation for all of the pioneers who played in dark gyms, who traveled overseas, who went without paychecks, who had to scramble to get home? Isn't this validation that, what you did set the tone for today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everything that's been done in the United States for women, for volleyball, has all led to this moment. Yes, people going overseas, the national team winning a gold medal in the Olympics, all these things have gone into this process of making this the number one sport for women. And now they get to see professional sports in Omaha, Nebraska. We don't have any professional sports in Nebraska, and this is going to be our first opportunity, and it's females. And I hear we're at 11,000 tickets. I'm hoping more people show up. They got time. How much time?
They've got an hour. They've got 50
hour.
minutes to get here.
Yeah.
Which from Lincoln you can do even under the speed limit. You can get here. So much of this has to be visionary, pioneer based, and it stands on the shoulders of the Renee Saunders of the world, who built it from the ground up, who took bruising and in some cases you took verbal abuse about the idea that women's sports could elevate this thing and to be the trendsetters and now the North Star. This is what you've done.
Yes, it's a culmination of a lot of hard work from a lot of young women. And I think there's a little bit, I think the WNBA kind of showed a little bit that it's possible, right? They kind of got it going, but it's kind of a similar model here, right? They have the backing, they're playing in big arenas. This is the feature today. It's not a sideshow, sometimes you just play a game with a bunch of good athletes and you call it professional, but it's different, right? This is electric. This is so fun. I'm going to be smiling this entire broadcast.
Well, that's the beauty of it. And let's be clear. When this idea was broached and they said, do you want to be a part of it? And I said, with the station, absolutely, because that's my investment and give back to this wonderful thing that is sports. And to be able to do that, and then to be able to do this in Lincoln, Nebraska, to have a flagship station, a professional sports franchise flagship in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then to have it be done at such a high level. And that when they announce and they say, hey, it's you and Renee Saunders, and then to have people reach out from everywhere to say, thank you. Thank you. This is a big night.
It is. And I appreciate you letting me know that it's like worldwide.
well, this is the thing that you built. It wasn't, I had friends. I have friends in Italy and London and Frankfurt. And they all said, well, listen, we downloaded the app because we wanted to be able to hear this. They all have daughters who are athletes. They knew me as a coach. They knew me as a broadcaster. So it's, we're going to support it. And then for them to say, I had my buddy in Portland said, my friends are sharing your little photo. And I'm like, that's my friend who's going to call that game. This is the first one. This is historical. And I'll say it clearly. It's pretty amazing to think that this thing is going to happen here in a short time.
And we get to be a part of it.
Forever and ever, we're going to hold this thing down. So here's what we're going to go through over the course of the pregame show and get you all the way set up to the anthem and starting lineups along the way. I do want to ask Coach Saunders to go through some of the rosters. We'll talk about the reserves from the Supernovas, or at least who we think the reserves will be. We'll talk about the starters. We've got the projected starting lineup for the Atlanta Vibe, so we can go up and down that. We'll talk about Coach Collier and this fantastic coaching staff. And then, quite frankly, what we think we will see in about 50 minutes. So I am Derek Pearson. I want to say it's a pleasure. We want to thank the folks from Mullen Motors for making this happen. As I look around the arena, I can tell you that there are folks who have stepped up to make sure that the Supernovas have all the support that they need. The folks from Omaha States, Hilton of Omaha have done their thing. Listen, this is a group and community effort to get this thing to where it is right now. There are pom-poms on every seat that's been sold. They've got the colors matched up. It's going to be a fantastic evening of volleyball at the highest level here at CHI Center in Omaha. I'm Derek Pearson. She's Coach Renee Saunders. We'll toward the break. When we'll come back, we'll talk about these rosters, what you can expect to see. We'll get player profiles on some of the players that we're going to be talking about over the course of the next few hours here in Omaha, Nebraska. You're listening to DP Coach Saunders, the Supernovas Radio Network.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
If Ewers throws that ball to the front pylon, Texas might have tied that game up and had a chance to win it.
That moment right there, it's one of those moments that every young man dreams about. There's two outcomes in that moment. You're a gamer or you tense up.
You're a gamer, you're a goner.
Or you're a goner.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
We are live courtside, CHI Health Center, Omaha, Nebraska, on the Supernovas Radio Network. We are about 50 plus minutes away from first serve in the very first game in the inaugural season 1 of the Volleyball Federation, Pro Volleyball Federation. I'm next to Renee Saunders, the coach, and I wanted to spend some time here talking about Coach Collier and what he's done. Now, anybody that's at this level is elite, but then to say that 41 years of coaching at the high level, and then 40 of those years he had a winning record. I don't know that I can say that about any coach at any level, that in 41 years of coaching, you had one losing season. Omaha has an elite coach. Coach, tell me about this coach.
Coach Collier is a ABCA Hall of Famer. I mean, he is one of the best in the business. When he was at Georgia Tech, actually, he recruited me when I was back in high school. And then after his stint at Georgia Tech, he went on to Wingate for 22 years. But he's coached Pitt for quite a few years, I think. Went on to Georgia Tech, has helped out with USA Volleyball. He has over 1,100 wins. That's a lot of wins. A lot of wins.
I don't have 1,100 of anything. That's 40 years of winning.
That's 40 years of experience. You know, like, I think he's probably seen it all. And I always have a lot of respect for coaches that have been in it that long, because the game has changed so much in 40 years. And you keep aging, but the kids stay the same age, right? Like, you're in college, you're always going to be with that 18 to 22, and you're getting older every single year. So to be able to sustain success like that is unheard of.
How difficult is it to reach across those bridges? I mean, think about it. An 18-year-old 40 years ago is still different from the 18-year-old today. Different accesses, different resources, different distractions, different social climates, and then different physicality.
Yeah.
Right? The athletes changed over this. How do you manage it? What does he bring that's so consistent that's allowed him success over this time?
Well, I think the key is consistent,
Yeah.
not what he brings. He's
Yeah.
himself, and he's consistently himself. And so you know what to expect from him. He's not going to come out one day and try to be somebody who he's not. He knows who he is. He knows the game of volleyball. He knows the adjustments he needs to make, but he's also hired a really, really good staff to support him in all those other areas and help connect with the players.
Let's go through that process. One, a coach is in their own persona, but then you have to find people that complement that or fit in gaps that you, or maybe cover blind spots that you can't cover. Let's go through, because he spoke yesterday about Coach Bird and the fact that, listen, first move, first thought, first hire is Coach Bird.
Yep.
Why?
I think she provides not only a wealth of experience, but she also played for him, right? So she understands his coaching style, but she's also a strong female role model for female athletes. And I think if you look at most college staffs, they're going to have, if they have a head male coach, they're usually going to have a male and a female. And if they have a female head coach, they're going to have a male and a female.
Why?
So they want to try to keep a little bit of a balance going on there.
Okay.
You want to have people around that the girls can relate to,
Okay.
right? And I don't think anybody wants too much testosterone, or
You don't want too much dad,
or
too much uncle,
or too much estrogen in
Right.
the room either, So I think it brings a balance. And so he's going to be consistent in his ways. Bird's going to have her ways, and they're different, but they complement each other.
What do you think she specializes in? If you had to say, there's a part of the coaching vacuum that she occupies? What do you think that would be?
I mean, in watching how she interacts with players and things like that, I think she's an associate head coach.
She's the
she
voice
kind of
in the
has her
head.
hands in everything.
Yeah.
But I think her main thing is going to be player development and player relations.
On your staff, when you hire, what are you trying to fill?
All my weaknesses.
Which would be, let's go through it. So if you said, hey, here's the thing that I handled this part. I'm good at this. But this is my blind spot, and this is where I need help. For your hiring, what would that be?
So for me, I have a phenomenal assistant coaches. I have one, Adam Ibarra, who's in charge of our hitters, and that's his specialty, and I trust him to do that. Sydney O'Shaughnessy is my setting coach, and I trust her to do that. I feel like they're really good at what they do, so that then frees me up to focus more on like defense and serve receive and training some of our the defensive type players.
Through this staff and again in a unique situation, this hasn't existed before. So the style of play is fluid. You have some idea about how you think you want to play. Then you have to find talent that matches that. In this staff, does that happen with the coaches as well?
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to step on each other's toes. You all have to know your roles and you all have to do your jobs. It's just like in volleyball, right? Like if I'm playing the game and my job is to block, but I don't jump and block, I'm not doing my job. If I am, John Corbelli and my job is to train our hitters, then I need to make sure our hitters have all the tools they need when they go into the match.
Do you work from I'm the final say, or that I'm going to allow you to make decisions as long as you make the right decisions?
I'm collaborative.
Okay.
I'm very collaborative, but there is a right answer, to a certain extent.
Well, that's the big part, right? That's how good coaching staffs are separated.
But if one of my coaches challenges me and they have a good point, sometimes you have to be like, hey, you're right. Like, we do need to change that, or we do need to try that, So I think there's a little bit, I think as a head coach, you have to have a little bit of an ego, but you also have to be able to swallow your pride a little bit and listen to others.
How does that work in this environment with professionals from all over the world? Nobody was built by Coach Collier.
Yeah, nobody was built, but when you're trying to draft players and make a team, you are trying to fit a profile. And I think he made it real clear yesterday when he was talking to us, like, he's kind of a culture guy. Like, he wants the good energy, good vibe players that can ball, and that's what he got.
It's interesting to watch because, again, coaches coach to their personality. If I asked you to define Coach Collier and say this is what the culture is going to be, what would it be?
I feel like he comes off as very calm, cool, and collected, right? So because he comes off that way, I have a feeling our team's going to play with a lot of poise.
And again, we're about 40 minutes out. We're going to go to break. I do want to thank some sponsors who helped make the Supernovas Radio Network move to make it go. Pre-game coverage is sponsored by Mullen Motors, your go-to used car dealership at 48th and Walker in Lincoln, Nebraska. Buy, sell, and trade today at Mullen Motors. Check the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com. I'm Derek Pearson. Next to me, Coach Renee Saunders. We'll throw the break. When we come back, we'll talk about this roster, the players that you need to know and that you'll get to know over the course of this 24-game season. Here we start tonight, Omaha, Nebraska. We'll be right back.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
You're listening to the Omaha Supernovas Radio Network, heard via our flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, KNTK-FM, Lincoln, Nebraska, and statewide via KRVN in Lexington, KTIC in West Point, KOLT, Scottsbluff, and KOWN 95.7 The Boss in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm Derek Pearson. Next to me, Coach Renee Saunders. And we're at a point where a lot of folks have started to search the roster that is Supernovas, trying to figure out what they're coming to see, what they're getting interested in, what will they become emotionally vested in. And I want to start with the folks. These are all elite players. The last player off the bench is an all-conference, All-America. This all reigns and reads differently. It's going to be amazing. So, Coach, let's start with Liberos. Let's talk about Gabby Thompson. What does she bring to the table?
She's a Kentucky national champion. I watched her. I sat right over there. Watched her win a national championship the COVID year. I talked to Coach Skinner this morning on the way to school because he's going to have two players over there on the Vibe that are also playing. Gabby Thompson brings – she took some time off, so I think she was a little rusty when she came in, but she's a very calm, steady influence in the back row. Great ball control.
I'm glad you said that because I've said that in my prep several times.
Backyard?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could call it the backyard today.
Yeah.
But she just brings like a calmness, right? Like poise in that back row.
There's depth all over this roster, and there's several hitters. Who are some of the names we're going to see in rotation for Omaha? So,
I mean, the projected starters are going to be Sydney Hilly setting.
Okay.
Then we've got opposite of her, the outlier, Jess Lamson, the kid that we talked about earlier today that Coach Collier didn't think was going to even make the lineup. And she was a 3-time All-American, a 2-year beach player at LSU. And now she is in our starting lineup for the Omaha Supernovas. And she's from small town Iowa. And she is the high school coach for the 2024 season of the Blair Bears. So she's going to be Class B playing against Scott Catholic.
That's spectacular in itself. Like, that's just a full story. Like, that's good all the way around. Who are the other hitters of note?
So your other hitters on the outside, you have Brooke Nunaviller. Brooke is a stud out of Oregon, national team member. I mean, there's a good chance that she sees the floor in Paris. And then opposite her, the player everybody's all hyped up to see play, Betty Dela Cruz. Dominican Republic, I think she's a 13-year pro. She's on the Dominican Republic Olympian team. So we're going to see a lot of talent on the floor today, a lot of hitters that can put the ball away. But what's great about those two is they're also very good in the back row. They can play defense. They can swing from back there. I think this team's going to be more of a front row attack type team, but having players like that to swing out the back row is an advantage.
If I asked you to describe Betty as an athlete, how would you describe her?
Oh God, she's a beast.
Yeah.
Like she walks the walk. You know, she looks like she's all business, but at the same time, she's one of the nicest people I've talked to on that team. You know, I mean, I think she's going to be a player that people who, if they're not here yet, they still have time, 30 minutes to get here and see them in action. But Betty's going to be someone that a lot of these kids are going to aspire to be like.
Who are these super athletes that you mentioned earlier that most of the players are going to have to cross over, carry multiple skills, and be able to be fluid? Who are some of the other players who are going to get their hands on the ball today?
We've got our middles, and I think honestly, like teams with good middles, they're hard to beat. And we've got Danielle Hart from Wisconsin, and we have Tori Dixon from Minnesota. And if we know anything about Big Ten volleyball, the conference knows how to block.
Yeah.
And we've got two middle blockers. Tori's got a ton of pro experience. Danielle's a little bit younger, but both of them AU Athletes Unlimited players, both very, very good. Great laterally, great in transition. And I think our setters, Sydney and then Nate, who I think we'll see coming off the bench, I think they're going to do a good job of getting them the balls and get them active early.
How do you think you arrive at the place where those are the two that'll get the most time?
You know, it says so on my sheet. But it's also my educated coach decision watching them in practice.
Right. I mean, you've seen enough to see, one, how they move, the shape that they're in. I was going to ask how much of the decision-making is conditioning, like how you came into camp. Not everybody comes into camp in the same condition.
A lot of our kids came in pretty good shape because they were all playing Athletes Unlimited. If anything, they probably had to recoup maybe some like use injuries, things like that. Tori and Danny have the most experience.
Okay.
And I think that's really big when you're a middle and you're playing this tempo of a game, and you're looking at great hitters on the other side. So I think having experience in the middle. Our next middle is Emma Willis out of Denver. And then Sophie's our practice player out of George Mason. So we have a couple other middles in the mix, but by far those two are our most experienced ones. And they have to be able to serve and play back row too, because libero can't serve in professional volleyball.
Let's talk about the libero position, because those are the ones that are going to really kind of set the table for it. What do we have?
I mean, Kendall White, Penn State, that kid will go to the 27th row to get a ball if she has to. She's also going to be the hype one out there. I think the Nova starting lineup has a good balance of maturity and poise and a little bit of crazy, right? Like you need a little bit of crazy to fire people up, maybe like snap them out of it if they have a bad swing. But Kendall brings the energy.
Is that a Penn State thing?
I think Russ Rose expects it of his players.
Right.
You know, we've got a couple Penn State people on our roster, and I don't think they've ever been told that, like, we can do more and we can be better.
Don't go through the wall.
Russ doesn't mess around.
Before we go to break, I do want to ask you, this has a huge Big Ten vibe. This has a wonderful Big Ten vibe, this lineup. And I think the league does. But there's a lot of Big Ten talent in the space. What is it? What style of play is it that brings this to the pro level?
Of the Big Ten?
Yeah.
Well, so professional level, you're going to play 24 matches, and every one is going to be a grind, right? The Big Ten season, everyone is a grind. So if anything, I think these players are mentally more prepared for that going into this type of a season.
It's going to be fantastic. We've still got some other players to talk about because there's some depth. And what we understand in the real depth of this thing, it's going to come into play over the course of the season and from set to set, from game to game. We will do that. Again, Coach Renee Saunders next to me. I'm Derek Pearson, live, Omaha, Nebraska, CHI Health Center. We're about 30 minutes away from first serve. It's season one. Season one, game one. You are listening to the Supernovas Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Again, welcome courtside. We want to thank the fine folks from Mullen Motors, your go-to used car dealership. 48th and Walker in Lincoln, Nebraska. Buy, sell, trade. Today at Mullen Motors, check the inventory. MikeMullenMotors.com. Next to Coach Renee Saunders. And, Coach, listen, we're looking at Nia Reed, and I'm trying to figure out how she's going to be. She's a Swiss Army knife. How is she going to be used in this thing tonight?
You know, I think that she's going to come in probably on the double sub potentially. She could come in and play oppo, or she could probably come in and play outside, but I think she's more comfortable at the right side. Gina Mancuso, I think everybody she goes in today. This place is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you got your Husker favorite, All-American. She's played internationally. She's kind of our franchise player. Not in the starting lineup right now, but I definitely see her making an impact in the game today. Nia Reed coming in on the right side, potentially can make a big impact. Then Mayfield out of Kansas, another kind of she's from St. Thomas Aquinas, and I'm throwing that out there because we have a nice little rivalry, Scott Catholic, St. Thomas Aquinas now.
There you
go. And so she went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School, then played at KU, probably one of their best hitters to ever go through that program. She's another one that came into training camp and just was fearless in everything that she did. Outside of that, Nadi Valentin Anderson from Puerto Rico will be potentially seeing some setting time. Again, we talked about Sydney and Nadi. They're very different, but very much the same, right? They very much complement each other really, really well. Nadi's got a lot of energy. She's constantly talking and smiling. She's got pizzazz. I love how that kid plays. She's never looks like she's having a bad day.
Look at the smile.
Yeah, she's diving on the ground. She's smiling. You know, and you got Sydney Hilly, who's going to start for us, who, as Coach describes as cerebral. I think that's good. She's very, very knowledgeable, but I think I walked in with her today, and she had a big smile on her face. Like, these kids are excited.
When you look up and down, there are players at every position that, listen, if they're your starter, you feel comfortable. And on a big play, if they're out there, you feel like we can still get it done. If we look across the net and you start to imagine matchups and talent, we do have some information on who we think this this starting group is going to be. I want to go through it because to give folks some idea about how deep Atlanta's roster is, right? Projected starters. Let's go up and down the list.
Well, I mean,
what they've offered.
You look at Atlanta, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 All-Americans on their team. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Athletes Unlimited players on their team. So, again, everybody is good. Everybody's legit. But I kind of made a guess. I assumed that Tori Stringer would be starting at setter. She's from Louisville. I talked to associate head coach Dan Meskey this afternoon, and I'm like, hey, so tell me about Tori. And the first thing out of his mouth, it's like, she's who put Louisville volleyball on the map. I mean, she's legit. She's got grit. Dad, football guy, right?
Great touch.
Great touch, great IQ. But what he said made her the most special is she's very honest. Like she's not afraid to say what's on her mind. And it's sometimes hard for females to do. So I think that's really important.
Well, if all the talent around you is of your level or higher, you have to communicate to make a difference.
Right.
So that's a big deal.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you about Grace Cleveland and what she brings to the table because, again, matchups matter, and this is another Big Ten star.
She's got some height out there. She's 6'3" out of Purdue. She's going to be on the opposite, so she'll either be matched up against Brooke or she'll be matched up against Betty. At 6'3", Tori's 5'11". I'd probably put Tori on Brooke, and I would probably put Grace on Betty.
Can you attack that? I mean, even in rotations, you can kind of space this out so it works.
Yeah, it'll be interesting once they actually get on the court to see what rotation they're starting and to see what kind of matchups those coaches are looking for right now. But I mean, my honest opinion is you don't want 5'11" on Betty Dela Cruz.
I'm not sure you want 6'3" on Betty.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
I'm not sure. You mentioned Kentucky.
Yep.
And that there's a lot of talent on the floor. Leah Edmond fits into that category. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Leah Edmonds played 4 years professionally, played in Puerto Rico. She's a 4-year All-American from Kentucky. I talked to Craig Skinner this morning, had a nice little talk with him. I really enjoy Craig, but he said that Leah is fearless. She could have 10 kills in a row, 10 kills on 10 swings, or 0 kills on 10 swings. She's still going to be swinging the same way. And I think that's super important in volleyball, that you don't change who you are for the game. On opposite of her, you have Ellie Linehan, who is your prototypical H2. She's great at ball handling. She's got finesse, not always power, but
a matchup problem because she's fluid.
She's very fluid. It depends on what you're looking at. I think Leah Edmonds, if she's on, that's a matchup problem. If she's off, then maybe the matchup problem moves to the other outside.
And having players who come from the same system, who have learned some of even the verbal is the same, and being able to carry it in a game like this certainly helps, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think just their experiences, being able to carry in this, I don't know how many of these kids, a lot of them, because they're all Americans, they were probably in the Final Four. Some of them won national championships. They played in front of 17, 18,000 people. Okay, we're going to have hopefully 12 here tonight. That's the hope.
Yeah.
Still time to get here.
Yeah, hurry.
You got to drive like Coach Saunders, but you can make it.
Stop telling on yourself. Stop that. Stop.
It's going to be a heck of a game. And then you've got the middles. You've got a Baylor 6'2" middle blocker, 5-year pro, Shelly Fanning. And then you've got Karis Watson, 6'3" out of Clemson. Both of them have 5 and 8 years experience of professional volleyball. One of them helped coach at Winthrop in 2022. So you're looking at coaching, seeing the game a little different. What's different professional in college? Some of it's what's going on upstairs. And so that's always
different
fun
levels
to see.
of talent, right?
That's right.
And then Morgan Heads, who have her hands on the ball quite a bit here.
Oh, national team player. I mean,
right, just
the kid's legit.
What's the difference maker for her? What skill does she bring that shows up the most consistent?
I think when you're a libero, there's 2 things you have to do really, really well.
Okay.
Number 1, you have to serve receive well. Number 2, you've got to be able to extend rallies. You got to get digs up. And that doesn't mean they're perfect, but you've got to get digs up in the air.
I think for this, and I still want to talk about Karis Watson, because when you talk to volleyball people, they said, listen, X factor, explosive was the word that was used, extremely athletic. I think that could be said about everybody, but particularly Miss Watson, right?
Yes, I think everybody's going to be athletic and do that. But it's funny because both X factors that we've talked about, they tend to be the middles.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we're talking volleyball, if my team passes well enough to set the middles, we're going to have the best chance to win, especially when you have middles like Watson and Fanning and Dixon and Hart.
I'm going to be fascinated by it. We've talked, we'll go in the next segment, we'll go back to the Supernovas because there are a few players that I want to go into great detail about. One of them being Tori, because Tori, from an athletic standpoint, moves differently than I think folks are going to be used to seeing, and I think she'll have that sort of impact in the game. Again, DP, Coach Renee Saunders, we're courtside. There are presentations going on throughout the course of the day in the background, and I want to tell folks, listen, over the course of this thing, you can download the ticket app if you haven't already done that. You can find it anywhere where you get your apps. It's easy enough. And then you have time. You've got about 16 minutes to get yourselves to downtown Omaha.
No problem. First serves at like 7:10, so you got a little time.
You got a little time. There's lots of celebration going on. Few announcements. The folks have walked in the door. Yeah, look who made the big screen.
I made the big screen.
Look who made the big screen. It's a coaching presentation, and they're talking about things in the game. Listen, this is a big night, and we're celebrating coaches, players, and the community. That's what this is going to be about. We'll throw the break. We'll come back. More of the pre-match conversation with Coach Renee Saunders, Omaha, Nebraska. Game 1, Season 1. It's a big deal here. Supernovas Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
When you're not the type to take the path of least resistance. When you prefer being in the driver's seat. When you ask for forgiveness, not permission. That's when the magic happens. So embrace being spontaneous. Throw caution to the wind. And embark on your next adventure. Palm Beach Tan. Embody your true colors. Join today and get your first month free, featuring Australian Gold.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, has the largest selection of late model equipment in the Midwest. And for a limited time, Acres is offering low-rate financing on all 2021 and 2022 S and X Series combines and 8 Series tractors. Qualified buyers can earn 3.9% financing for 60 months. And as an added bonus for your holiday season, if you purchase one of Acres' eligible machines before December 31st, you'll get a $5,000 gift card from Shields. Go to acres.com to learn more.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Facing the court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we believe in treating every person with respect, compassion, and understanding. When legal troubles are keeping you up, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. To learn more, call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
We're at a lights out moment at the CHI Health Center, and it is part of the game ops and game program. Game notes, Coach Renee Saunders next to me. want to thank our super producer, Rico, for getting us through and getting us all set up and doing the heavy lifting so that we can carry this ball game to you, bring this match to you in full. I want to thank Harrison Arns back at the Ticket Center to get us through and keep things moving. Greatly appreciate it. Lots going on. They just did a coach's video, just kind of sharing a little of what this means to women's volleyball, and to have John Cook and company and our own Coach Saunders talk about what this means. Coach, let's go back. Hold on. We're going to, because I really want you to hear as the Supernovas come and just take the floor that the building is starting to fill up. And it's a pretty cool thing to have. First, Coach, I need your opinion on the unis.
Oh, they're kind of busy for me. I'm so boring and plain and simple, and yeah, I'm not a flashy person, but you know what? Look good, play good.
And listen, Kendall and Sydney and Gabby, they look good. Like, okay, they're making this work. What do you think of Atlanta and the Vibe?
You know, they're a little bit more simple. So in a way, I like those better. You know, the Supernova colors, they just scream stardom, right? Like, we're going to be special. We're going to be different. We're going to be better than anybody else. And this is a really cool warm-up they're going through, Coach. They very different than anything you've ever seen. Like, both teams hit on the outside. Both teams hit on the right side. Everybody serves. So it's not like you have your alone court time. Very different setup of warm-up, but it's fun to just watch them bang. I remember back when I was a player, one of my favorite things to do was hitting lines. As a coach, it's one of the most boring things to do.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what I'm watching are the fans. And so just for the true radio call, the Supernovas are left to right for us.
Yep.
Atlanta right to left. And the Supernovas in it, it's a white top with kind of a rainbow, aqua, blue. Is that pink?
Yeah, purple and pink. Aqua, purple, and pink.
Right?
And then liberos are flip-flopping. They're pink jerseys with purple and blue. So we're very celestial.
And here's the other thing. So a couple things in play. To watch who's wearing the long pants versus the shorts. And I'm paying attention to the knee pad placement. Like, we need to know young players below the knee, veteran players covering the knee.
Yep. Veterans wear them right. Young kids wear them for style. It's funny. It makes me laugh. And you got some people in leggings, some not in leggings. You know, the Vibes jersey, they're plain black with like red piping. Where the liberos are wearing kind of a red fade jersey. So,
yeah, I was trying to say, okay, Coach, walk me through. With the black unis, what's the problem? Why would there not be black knee pads?
You know, black knee pads went out of style. Black shoes, black knee pads, they kind of went out. Like, it became like, I think one of my teams used to call it, we're going to be iced out.
Yeah.
So they're white. And I don't remember the last year people wore black, but now they look at it and they laugh at themselves.
When you as a coach and you kind of want to pass along the word to your players about the footwear, the shoes, it's a big part of it. What you're thinking? Do you like everybody kind of on the same page, or do you want them to be comfortable in their own vibe and their own riz?
I'm we all wear white shoes, white knee pads. I believe flashy draws attention to yourself.
See,
does any of this surprise you?
No, not a bit. Like I said, every coach, you really coach to your person. You can't help it. It's just who you are. And it's a representation of you. So what does this all say about Coach Collier?
You know, for the most part, though, they're all in white shoes. There's a couple that don't. Maggie Cartwright, one of our practice players, she had red shoes forever and not white.
Right.
You know, you've got a couple, I think Gabby Thompson has pink going on. But other than that, and Paige from Western Kentucky, Paige Briggs is wearing some teal shoes.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part, we're pretty plain, as I would say Atlanta is.
I'm fascinated by all. And again, as the lower bowl fills up, and I can tell you, if you look up, the number of folks who are upstairs is gathering. That number is going higher. So Listen, Coach, we know you're popular. Like, we know you're the most, like, everybody knows Coach Saunders. Listen, this is through this thing. And as we walk up to it, what does Coach want to communicate to his team? Because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things going on. You trying to focus on your work? Are you exhaling at the crowd? Because that was a big part of this thing. Would it land? Would people show up? Well, it landed. People are showing up. When does the focus become the focus?
I mean, they're professionals, so they know they've got a game to play. They've been preparing for it. They've been in training camp. They had a mini training camp back in December with some other players. They're ready. They're ready to play volleyball. I think, honestly, they all know they're part of history right now. And so you want them to soak it in, right? Like, look around, like, look at who's coming to watch you. Like, this is awesome. This is who's who of volleyball. Like, anybody who has a daughter, a sister, a cousin, a niece, a granddaughter, like, they're here and they're watching history in the making, and they get to see these ladies do what they do best, play volleyball.
The coaches from around the league are here. The club coaches are here. The fan base has crossed over because you have Creighton next to Nebraska, next to Wesleyan, next to Doane, and everybody is here paying attention. There's a great energy in the room. I'm starting to feel like it's game time. Now all of the work that you put into getting to now is done. Now you have to play the game, and it becomes about volleyball, and it becomes about talent, and it becomes about coaching, and the energy in the room.
Yep.
It's all going to matter. Coach, what can the fans expect? What do you give us a little forecast?
I'm gonna put myself out there, and I think the Supernovas are gonna get this done, and it's gonna have nothing to do with volleyball. It's gonna have everything to do with, like, the energy this team plays with, and the impact these kids are going to make on all the kids out there watching and the fans. I think they're going to give them a product that they're going to want to come back and see. The passion these guys play with, the energy, the excitement, the way they celebrate each other, the way they work together. I mean, volleyball is the epitome of a team sport, right? I can't bump, set, and spike all by myself, right? I need my teammates to lift me up and make me better. So I think that's going to be the focus. Like, hey, how can we make each other better and make this the best moment we can? And let's beat Atlanta in the process.
Folks, wherever you are and however you are consuming tonight, get your popcorn, get your beverage of choice, find a comfortable place. You're going to be a part of history. The very first in season 1, game 1, Atlanta Vibe, Omaha Supernovas. We want to thank everybody that's making this thing happen. We want to thank the folks from Mullen Motors for taking care of us. The Supernovas Radio Network, 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln, KRVN in Lexington, Nebraska, KTIC in West Point, KOLT in Scottsbluff, and KOWN in Omaha. That is the network. We will bring it to you. We'll go to break. When we come back, we'll have the anthem. We'll have the starting lineup, and we will have history.
Healing the heart takes heart. Our dedicated team of cardiac experts is here for you with breakthrough treatments for serious conditions and expert advice for living longer with a healthier heart. We bring healing care to our community with over 90 cardiology specialists and subspecialists and more than 50 locations across Nebraska, Southwest Iowa, and Northern Kansas. Find out how we heal hearts with heart, starting with yours at chihealth.com/heart.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
The Mill Coffee and Tea inside our 93.7 The Ticket studio is now open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale. Sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends, right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. The Supernovas Radio Network is live. It's time for Omaha Supernovas Volleyball here on the Supernovas Radio Network. And now, the voices of the Omaha Supernovas. Derek D.P. Pearson and Renee Saunders.
Oh, boys and girls, men and women, let me tell you, the bowl is full and it feels like an event. Thank you for making it tonight the special thing that it is. You're listening to the Supernovas Radio Network, and let me be clear. Next to me, iconic, talented, exceptional, elite, Coach Renee Saunders will break down what we see.
I know.
We will try to tell you what's happening in the room, and I'm excited. This will be the very first night, game one of season one. The Omaha Supernovas and the Atlanta Vibe, and this room is filled with talent. It's filled with energy. We're going to stay here with you through the anthem so that you can just kind of go with us through this thing. And then we'll come back with the starting lineups. We'll talk about it both. I believe the reserves are also being announced tonight. So what I'm going to do, we'll go radio silent for the anthem. You'll hear the anthem in the background. And then when we come back into the introductions, we will bring that to you. So everybody in the room is standing. The anthem, we will take the headsets off, and then we'll come back to you right after the national anthem.
Presenting the colors for tonight's match is the Alpha Air Force Base Color Guard. Performing the anthem tonight is Nicole Crawford.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gay cruise through the night. That our flag was still there. land of the free and the home of the brave.
And to tell you from the pop that the crowd is here and in the building. I'm DP. Next to me, Coach Renee Saunders, and there's lots to fill. Coach, I don't know if you look to your left, but that is the student section. And what's happened is that students, college students from all over Nebraska, have found their way and packed this for us. Remember, this is Nebraska's team. It's got Omaha on the name, but the entire state has shown up in full form to a packed house. Well done, Supernovas. Well done, ladies. Coach Saunders, tell me, what's your feeling right now?
I got a little bit of butterflies. I'm not going to lie. Just like the anthem was fantastic, then I'm looking around at all these people, and there's still people coming in. It's a production. From radio left to right, the Atlanta Vibe being introduced. This is a full set. We know from the starting lineup that was issued who we think is going to start. We'll go through those, and then on the left side of the radio dial or your laptop or whatever you're processing the Supernovas, and we'll have some idea about who those players are, and then we'll get the starting lineups as well. Let's go through the Vibe starting lineup, the projected starting lineup, and what you can expect, who are the players and what positions. Grace Cleveland, opposite, 6'3" out of Purdue. Tori Stringer, setter, 5'11" out of Louisville. Leah Edmond, outside hitter, 6'2", Kentucky. Shelly Fanning, middle blocker, 6'2" out of Baylor. Allie Linehan, outside hitter, 6'3", Kentucky. Karis Watson, middle blocker, 6'3" out of Clemson. And in the red jersey, we're looking at Morgan Hentz, libero, 5'9", Stanford University.
And it's amazing how many of those come from programs that you know, style of play that you know, and now the building will pick up because the Supernovas starting lineup will be announced. We will dance along with the announcer. I will repeat what he says, and then, Coach, you'll give us a little bit of who the player is. I think we know position one. I think we know where we're starting. Coach, who do you think is the first player announced?
I think they're going to do Nadi first because she's closest to us, and then Gina. So it looks like they're going to do non-starters and then starters.
The balls are going to go. They've got little miniature souvenirs that they're going to throw into the stands. Coach, do we practice the throws? Should we practice?
They practice the throws. We got to practice our catches.
So Nadi is number one. She'll be coming off the bench for Coach. And we know Gina Mancuso, everybody here cheers loudly.
Then you got Paige Briggs out of Western Kentucky, Nia Reed out of Penn State, Allison Mayfield from Kansas, Gabby Thompson from Kentucky, Emma Willis out of Denver.
Best arm of the toss so far.
Nia launched it.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, Nia launched it. Now we got our starters. Sydney Hilly, Wisconsin.
She made the smart choice. Just hand it to a kid at courtside.
That's a happy kid. Brooke Nuneviller from Oregon.
Good arm.
She's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited. Tori Dixon out of Minnesota, middle blocker.
She's a force.
She is a force.
The biggest story so far.
Jess Lamson making small town Iowa proud.
Bad Betty.
Bad Betty. Betty Dela Cruz, outside hitter. I need to give Defiance, Iowa a shout out, though, for Jess Lamson's hometown.
Let's do that.
Danny Hart out of Wisconsin.
Out of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Yep. I think the fans are going to love Kendall. Kendall White's got a little pizzazz to her.
Flex on them, and they're led by
Coach Shelton Collier, associate head coach Bird Kuhn, and then assisted by John Shea and John Corbelli. And then they got Thomas Robson, technical coordinator. We ready to roll, Coach?
We are ready to roll as they meet at center court. High fives abound, and Coach Saunders, again, from this standpoint, this is history being made. I'll go in the other direction and go, it's her story